It's DeAnn Dillard with the Real Estate Success Podcast. And today I'm here with two special guests. I have Kirsten and Meghan Incorvaia, aka the Divorce Sisters. And today we're going to take a little different turn on the show. So a couple different ways. We're going to talk about divorce. We're going to talk about real estate. We're going to talk about the holidays and going through all of those things. But actually, Meghan and Kirsten are going to be interviewing me here. So you guys take it away. Tell us a little bit about you. Who's up first? Kirsten, go ahead.
I'm Kirsten Incorvaia, and this is my sister, Meghan Incorvaia. We got divorced 5 years ago, 6 months apart. We were married 6 months apart. And we are now serving women who are going through divorce and helping them turn their greatest breakdown into their breakthrough. So when I got to meet you, DeAnn, for the first time, and I heard your story, I was just like, oh my God, we need to talk to you. We need to share this story with all the women who are going through breakups or divorces, just to see an example of what's possible on the other side. I was immediately so inspired just seeing the life and the business that you've built on the other side of big ruptures. And yeah, Meghan and I are just so excited to share this time with you and to collaborate and join forces to offer support to all the women who are going through breakups, who need that team of people coming around them.
Awesome. What about you, Meghan?
Well, I'm Meghan, Kirsten's sister, and I met DeAnn in Costa Rica, actually in the airport on the way to Costa Rica. And I immediately identified her as a boss babe. And I was like, strong to her energy. And I feel like that's such a great way to make relationships in business the feminine way, because as women we are so relational, and there's just so much good that always comes from that. And then come to find out you're specializing in this divorce niche with your real estate company, and we just started this program to help women through divorce. So we've decided to combine our superpowers.
Love it.
We just serve women that are in a really usually extremely challenging time of life. It's the number 2 most stressful life event, second to death of a spouse. So we, Kirsten and I, just recently created this program because we wanted to make something for women that we wished we would have had when we were going through our divorces 5 years ago. We really leaned on the strength of each other and created a sacred sisterhood. And we wanted to open that up for other women who feel isolated and alone, which is, a huge pain point when you're going through divorce. So we're just out here on the interwebs talking about divorce, normalizing it. It's up to, I think, 65% of couples now post-COVID. So this is happening all around us.
65%.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's a big need right now for support for women going through this. So that's what we're here for.
Yeah, I love that. I'm so glad that we met on that plane or in the airport on the way to Costa Rica. And it's been an interesting journey because I didn't know you were in this area, right? Even as a business side. And then we were able to just like grow our friendship. And then you had a great sister too that you brought along.
Yeah, totally.
It's been an incredible journey. So go ahead, guys. Shoot.
Yeah, so we're going to start off by spotlighting you and your story, and then we wanted to hear tips about real estate for women going through divorce, and then just general tips about the holidays and how we can all navigate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
To dive in, we wanted to start with your rock bottom moment. People who look at you now just see like this foundation that you've built of so much success. And I want to go back to that very first moment, the inciting incident when you were really at your lowest, and just kind of take us back there and what was going on? What were you experiencing?
Yeah, I've had a few of those rock bottom moments actually. And I actually just posted about that this week because I've had some like more than one rock bottom moment. But I've fortunately been able to pull myself out and keep going at different times. But I actually got into real estate when I was on my second divorce. So I've been divorced 3 times. I'm leading this group right now of divorce of a lot of groups. But it's been great experiences, absolutely challenging, but it's made me who I am today. So I can't say that I'd necessarily go back and change it, because I wouldn't be who I am and where I am. But the second time I got a divorce was, yes, I got a divorce is how I got into real estate, because I was a stay-home mom and I didn't have a career or something to go into when I got a divorce. And then I found I needed to support my kids. And my one of my biggest goals was to give my girls, I raised 4 girls, the opportunity to go to college. And because I didn't go to college, and I thought, well, how am I going to put them through college? And I want them to be able to if they want to. And so I was able to actually do that, being in real estate, was to provide for them as a single mom and put them all through college. So that was incredible. But I just had a friend who said, hey, you should get your real estate license, put your picture on a sign and you'll do great. And I'm like, okay. So that's how I got
Take us even one step before that.
Yeah.
What was that moment that you're like, okay, now I realize that this marriage is not going to work and I'm going to be a single mom and I've been a stay-home mom. I don't have another source of income. Like, what was the biggest challenge of that moment?
It was very scary. It was like, holy crap. I've been a stay-home mom with my kids for I don't know, 10 years. What am I going to do? I don't have any money. And it was literally like, I just need a job right now so I can have some cash. So I went and applied at Starbucks just around the corner from my house. I'm like, it's close, I can still get my kids from school, and I'll be a barista. I'll make, I don't know, $10 an hour. It'd be good. And then I went and interviewed, and they actually asked me to be the store manager. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. I'm the manager at Starbucks. But at that point I was panicked, literally. I was like, and I can imagine, I mean, so many women are, right? Like I knew that I couldn't be in this relationship anymore, that it was so miserable that I was willing to go, okay, I'm going to go get a minimum wage job, whatever I have to do. And I'll figure out how I'm going to make more money, which is how I got in real estate.
That's amazing. Just like, I'm admiring how much courage you have to take that stand and to leap into the unknown when it sounds like you had no safety net to catch you. You just took this leap of faith.
Yeah, no, I didn't have a plan, honestly. I had no plan whatsoever. I was just like, I have to get out of this. I'm miserable. It's making my whole family miserable. And I just knew I couldn't do it. And I didn't know what I was going to do. And I thank God and the universe that it took me down the path that it did, but I didn't know. I just knew that I had to do something, and I knew I could do something. I'm like, I'll figure it out. It'll all work out. And it did.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got married again. Yeah. So I ended up getting married again and being in that relationship for almost a good 10 years. And I was working my real estate career, and probably about 1 year into that marriage, I realized that I had to get out. And I don't know if you guys know the story of Katie Holmes and Tom Cruise. Like, I don't know if I even, so she was planning a divorce from Tom Cruise for a long time, and he didn't have a clue. And then she made this whole plan, right? And then all of a sudden she was gone in like a day. And I kept saying, I need to plan my Katie Holmes. I need to. So my third husband didn't want me to work at all, because he didn't want me to go outside of the house. But I was like, I'm going to work. I'm going to start working. And that's when I went full force into my real estate career, because I was like, I need to make some money. and be able to take care of myself and not be in the same situation that I was previous divorce, where I came out and I didn't have any means of making any money.
So it sounds like it's really important to you to be financially self-sovereign and depending on yourself.
Yeah, 100%. My mom worked when I was growing up, but we were always like paycheck to paycheck, right? And wishing that the situation was different. And I that says remember your why back there. Well, that's my kids, my 4 girls. And I wanted them to see me win, right? And so they can win. They don't have to depend on another human being, whoever that human being may be, for their safety and security, right? That we have the ability to do it ourselves. And I think when we get dependent on another person in any relationship, that sometimes you lose yourself, right? And then when you're in an abusive relationship like I was, or a toxic, unhealthy relationship, maybe that person's trying to keep you down and not let you have your independence. So I had to fight my way out of that one big time. And it means everything to me now. And it did at that time, that I'm able to take care of myself, and that my children are able to see that I can and that they can too. Yeah. So that relationship didn't end well either.
So how did you find the courage or the tenacity when that partner was telling you can't leave the house? Like, what did you draw on inside of yourself to say, I am going out and working and I'm building up this business?
That's a really good question. I think it was just that knowing that I have to get out of this situation, and then it's only going to get uglier. And it did. And I fought against him to be able to go out and work. And I just put my foot down, like, I'm going to do this. It's weird when you're in that type of relationship and it's like so controlling and manipulative, but on the other hand, you've got to be so strong, but then you have to balance not trying to piss this person off, so you don't have constant fighting, right? But I knew in the back of my mind for my kids that I had to get out of that situation and to be able to succeed. So for my girls, I wasn't going to give up, literally.
And underneath that, you believed in yourself.
I did. It's a weird dichotomy when you're in that situation. Someone just commented, get your Katie Holmes escape plan. That was my plan. But yeah, I did. I had it inside me. Like I knew I could. And a funny thing, to backtrack a little bit, people always tell me all the time, I can't believe you were in that situation. I can't believe you let somebody, because they know me and my personality, I can't believe you let somebody control you like that or tell you what to do. But it's like I'm strong and I knew I could get out and I knew what I had to do. But at the same time, I'm trying to have peace and do it the easiest way. So it's like you have to balance the whole thing. It's a total, a word I want to say, it's total minds right?
I know what you're getting at.
Yeah. But it definitely, I had to just, pull up my big girl pants and say, I have to figure this out for my kids. And it took me a long time. I was in that marriage for 8 years, married, and it took me a minute to get out. And I was so stressed out, and it was such an ugly divorce that I didn't, I just wanted out. I just wanted to get out, and I wanted to get away from this person. I didn't want them to have any type of hold on me anymore. And I gave in to everything. And I didn't have a support or community like what you guys are building right now, helping women survive, have a community, and have, grow in their spirituality. And I didn't have any of that, right? I didn't have any of it. So I wish now that I can bring to women, you guys, and that's probably why I'm building this. It's a big part of why I want to build a network, a business to business network, is to share with the people that I serve in real estate, hey, there's resources. I've been there, right? I've been through that divorce. There's things out there that can help you. You don't have to go it alone, like I did. And so I'm so thankful for you guys and for seeing what you're doing and be able to bring that into my business.
Love that. Women supporting women.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I was saying, I just gave in. We owned homes together. We owned property together. And I was a real estate agent, right? I didn't know better. I just was like, okay, I have this property. What do? I need to sell it so I can survive. And one thing for women is that they don't realize, like, if they're a stay-at-home mom or less earner of the family, like, you have to go and refinance that property to keep it, right? You have to qualify for that. And here you are, maybe you're a stay-at-home mom like I was in my second marriage, or even in my third marriage, he was, the big breadwinner, and I wouldn't have qualified for that on my own. But there are ways around that I'm learning now. I'm working on my certified divorce real estate agent certification. And I'm learning so much that there's so many options if you just know it going in, right? But even the divorce attorneys don't know everything. So I've always wanted to get into the divorce aspect of this business, and I'm finally able to do that now, and to be able to point not only women but people in general that there's a lot of creative things there you can do. There's a lot of resources. There's people like you guys. Like, I wish I had you guys. Man, if I had you guys when I was going through divorce, I feel like I would have been such a bigger bad bitch.
Yeah, that's
we
what
had
we're
ourselves.
Well, when we're going through a breakdown, we need advocates, and we need advocates in all different parts of our life. Like, if you are going through real estate transactions, having a real estate agent who understands what it's like to be in that situation, who has specific training and certification around divorce, having your lawyers or your mediators who understand the ins and outs of the law. Like, a lawyer I talked to, Rebecca Ritchie, she said, when you get married, you sign one piece of paper. And then I ask people, what do you know about the divorce laws? And they're like, nothing. And she slams down a book that's like this thick,
Right. Yeah.
Just like,
you had no idea what you were getting into. Yeah.
We need an advocate who has this knowledge and this understanding when it comes to the emotional and spiritual part and the sisterhood aspect. That's where Meghan and I come in, and we partner with therapists who are dealing with, the psychotherapy, and like women who are going through a rock bottom rupture need an entire team of advocates. And that's why we were so excited. Like, Meghan and I were already talking about creating our trusted referral network. And then when we talked to you and you had the same idea, we're just like, oh my God, this is so needed. And this is going to be so powerful.
Yeah. I really love what you guys are doing with your program and how you're creating a network for people. Because I think too, when we're going through divorce, it's so shameful, right? You're so isolated. And you're not really going around telling people, hey, I'm getting a divorce. Do you know a divorce attorney? Do you know this? It's just not you want to go out there and share with everybody. But when you come along, or when I come along, when somebody I'm working with is going through divorce, I'm like, oh my God, I tell them, look, I've been divorced 3 times. Like, I'm an expert at this. So if you need resources or help, and everyone is always so thankful, right? They're like, oh my God, that would be so nice. Yeah, right? Even just to, like you guys said, you work with mediators and such, like, just providing people those trusted resources and options so they can reach out, and knowing that you've been there, it's huge for these women.
I think that the work that you're doing, DeAnn, is so groundbreaking, because if you look at history and you look at the history of marriage, this is kind of random, but I just listened to a podcast on the history of marriage. It was all about property. That's the origins of marriage. It was like, this woman's father is going to decide that she's going to marry this man because he's going to attain the property in that man's family. And it is so incredibly groundbreaking that now, as women, we have the sovereignty and we have the power to reclaim our property. Like there's
Yeah.
real estate agents like you who are experts in helping women, you know, keep these properties in the family and know that they have options, know that they are empowered, and they don't just have to give in and give all of their assets away in the divorce. Right. You can stay in a place of power. And I think what really happens most of the time is everyone is so freaking overwhelmed that they're just like, fine, take it. I don't want to deal with you anymore. Take the house, whatever. But
that's what I did.
Someone like you, who you've been through it 3 times and you've dedicated so much time and energy to learn about all the loopholes, how you can help people. Like, this is amazing that we can provide this kind of support for women historically. Like, it's an amazing time for women in history because we used to just be property.
Right. 100%.
Us ourselves, we were included in that. Like, yeah, we were the property along with the land that our family held. Like, we were just baby making property.
You can have this cow, this piece of land, and one of my daughters.
No, it's like, that is seriously what it comes from. Right. So we've come so far. Yeah. So I really feel the weight of the importance of the work that we're doing, empowering women to not only survive through divorce, but really thrive and, keep their sanity because they have this hot team around them.
Yeah.
They don't have to go and find all these professionals, like we're creating a network for people.
And one of the biggest fears that keeps women in a relationship that is past its expiration date or even abusive, a lot of women stay in relationships that don't serve them anymore because of the financial fears. Yeah. It's like, okay, you've been cohabitating, you've been sharing all your bills, and whatever arrangement you have, like, in most households, men make, a huge percentage more than women just because of the income inequality of our country. So the financial...
Not anymore. We're not doing that.
We're not doing that in the next generation. That stops now. But, I know men have financial stress too going into divorce, but I know hearing from women, I have not talked to a single woman going through divorce or who wants to have a divorce where finances is not a huge stressor and a huge fear. So just walk us through how you bridged that gap going from being financially dependent and not having an income to building this incredibly successful business. Like, how did you do it?
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. I literally just put together some goals. Okay, I have to do this. I literally was in panic mode for like 3 years. Like, I wake up every morning with crippling anxiety. But I was talking with a coach the other day, and I have many coaches and therapists in my arsenal. But she pointed out to me that your anxiety was a tool that served you well. And I hate anxiety. It's right. And especially going through divorce, it's just like, holy crap, how am I going to get through this? What am I going to do? Am I going to be homeless? But that anxiety made me get up and do everything, no matter how scared I was, right? No matter how scared I was, I had to make the phone calls that I didn't want to make, especially in this business. People don't want to make cold calls, or they don't want to knock on doors or whatever. I didn't care because I was like, I have to survive. I was in survival mode. So that anxiety served me well. And it was just like a mama bear, right? Because I'm like, my kids got to eat. My kids got to eat. And their dad wasn't very extremely supportive, right? He's like, well, you wanted a divorce, so you figure it out. And I did. And so it was just literally getting up every day in that fear of what am I going to do and making myself do the things I didn't want to do. So that fear and that anxiety can serve us when we need it to. But it
sounds like you turned the fear and the anxiety into something.
Yeah. Yeah. Into getting my ass out of bed and knocking on doors and making phone calls. Action. and to action and doing all the stuff that other people don't want to do. And I hear it all the time in this industry. Oh, I don't like to cold call, or I don't want to knock on someone's door. I don't like to bug people. I didn't care because I would do it. I would call I can call 100 people an hour. So if I spend 3 hours on the phone, I'm calling 300 people, right? And somebody's going to sell their house because my kids need to go to college.
Wow,
So
you had so much boldness.
I did. I didn't care. It's you just come out into this different person, and you have to find a way to take care of yourself and your family. And it was just that determination. And then I started to probably be voracious in learning how to figure out being a business person, right? I no longer have another person to rely on. If this doesn't work out, it has to work out. So I just dove really hard into learning how to run a business and how to do it by myself. And it worked. It worked. I would do anything. I put my face on every single thing I could, anywhere, anytime. And then everybody started to know who I was, and it became like a little local celebrity. And I'd be getting gas at the gas station, and they'd be like, "Are you DeAnn Dillard? I follow you.
Love it.
I see your signs everywhere. I follow you on Instagram or whatever." And so that became my business, right? It was just being known and sharing. And then I started to share everything on social media. I started to share my struggles and real things that people didn't share at that time, 5-6 years ago. And it worked.
So you made the decision, no looking back, I need to be financially self-sovereign so that I can do what I need to do in my relationship and claim my independence.
Mm-hmm.
You picked a lane. You said, I'm going to focus on real estate.
Mm-hmm.
You went out of your comfort zone over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that is the beauty of being at your rock bottom. It's like, what else do I have to lose?
Exactly.
Making a cold call doesn't sound so scary when everything else in my life is burning.
Yeah, I was not scared. I actually ended up being homeless with my kids at one point in that divorce, because he had me removed from the home, and within a matter of a few hours, I had nowhere to go.
Wow.
I had nowhere to go.
Oh
and
my God.
I ended up living with a girlfriend who, thank God that she helped me out. In her son's bedroom, he moved to the couch, and me and my 3 girls lived with them for a couple months, as I'm still like sitting in the bed with my laptop trying to do deals. So, that was a rock bottom, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I got to figure it out. So I just kept going.
There, it's like asking for help. The rug just got pulled out from under me, asking your friend for help, staying committed, staying tenacious, even in the face of, like, I can imagine that's every woman's worst fear, is her kids being, suddenly not having a place to rest their head at night.
Yep.
And even in that like worst fear moment, you stayed committed to moving forward, asking for help. And I'm just amazed right now. You became your own hero.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I had to. Didn't have a choice, right? I didn't have a choice. And so, that crazy mama bear came out, and I just kept going. Literally, I think it was just every day keep going. I wake up in terrible anxiety, but knew that I had to get up and sell another house.
So you're taking the steps to sell houses, and then how did that start to shift things for you? What was your big break?
In my business?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was literally keep doing the same thing over and over and over again with my social media, with having my face on everything. I literally had a huge billboard in front of the country club in my community with my face on it because somebody asked me to list this piece of property. So it was when I started to hear it all the time, literally every day. I see you everywhere. I see you everywhere. I see you everywhere. And because I was going so fast, I didn't realize it. Right. But all of a sudden I had 30 listings, and one year I did 52 listings, and that was just me not really knowing what I'm doing. Right. So I was like, I'm going to take one a week was my goal. And I did. And then I just started to realize, it's working. You know, I'm doing it. I did the work, and now I really, it's really here. But when you're in it and you're so panic mode, you don't really see that it's working. It's still, oh, I can breathe. I actually have a nice house, and I have money coming in, and I have a steady business, and my kids are doing great. Now they're going to college, and then I was like, oh, I did it. You know, it just kind of just like passed me by. I was in the middle. I was like watching it happen because I was so just determined on it. Yeah.
And did you have like a knowing inside that you would ultimately be successful and that there was going to be a return for all this work you were putting in when you were in it?
Not really.
You're just like, I have no options. I just have to at least try.
Yeah, not really. And I think because I had been through so many traumatic situations that I was always running from that, right? Like running from being homeless and running from being yelled at in my house and having to pack up my kids and go to a hotel and always feeling like I'm not there yet. Like I have to get there. So I think that it took me a long time just to go, oh yeah, I did it. I did good. It really did. Yeah, I wasn't ever at that point where I was like, oh, I'm successful. And I still don't feel like that, right? I'm still always pushing.
When was that turning point that you felt like, okay, at least now I have my feet on the ground. I know that I have security, I have safety, like the shift out of panic?
When I had some money in the bank, when I finally had some money in the bank, when I didn't have any debt, and I sold a personal house, and I had a ton of equity, and I'm like, oh my God, like if I take a week off, I'm gonna be okay. You know, I have money in the bank, and it's a weird feeling when you're running from all that fear all the time, and then all of a sudden you like, oh, I'm doing fine, like I can pay my bills. Yeah.
Now you drive a Maserati.
That's right. Now I can get a good car. I know. And my daughter the other day, she's like, Mom, you need to get a Honda, because I had her take it to get service for me. And she was like, holy crap, I can't believe how much money you spend to get. She's like, you know, Honda. I'm like, oh, my ego is way too in that. I'm never going back.
I love it.
I totally admitted it. I was like,
I love that you own that.
I did.
Well, from homeless to Maserati, you inspire us.
A great title for this show.
Right?
Yeah. For real, though. It's like totally the best.
At least if I'm homeless now, I could live in my Maserati, right?
Yeah, I'll live in the Maserati. How many years was it from when you were staying at your friend's house, homeless, to buying a Maserati?
It probably was a year. It was only
One year?
It was probably only a year.
1 year.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
What?
That's insane.
Yeah.
I thought you would say like 7 years.
It was about a year. I made some transitions with my business. I moved companies, and I was like, I need to be in a different a company that's forward thinking. And I really made moves that year, and it changed my business. Yeah. And then I was at my new company, there was probably about 40, 50 agents, and I was consistently the top selling agent in the company every month. And I started to get some traction, and then things were like, yeah, I got this. It was fun.
That is incredible. I can't believe that was such a fast turnaround. 1 year.
I wasn't kidding.
Like how fast things can change. And I want women to really let this sink in, that your situation can completely turn around in 1 year.
100%. Absolutely. And it could probably turn around a lot faster if they have someone like you guys in their corner, right? People who have been there, and people who can give them support and community. I was my own community. It was just me and my kids, you know? And so if I would have had you guys, would have took me like 2 months. I would have been.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It means a lot to us.
It's what you're doing is incredible. It really is. I wish I had that but now I have you guys to share with everybody.
Hell yeah.
Yes. Love it.
So let's talk about real estate for women who are going through divorces. I'm sure we'll do plenty of hour-long interviews just about this, but for today, we'll just hit kind of the high-level bits. Like, what are the things that you wish you knew when you were going through a divorce? You were a real estate agent, and you still said that you looked back on that and regretted the deal that was made, and there were things that you wish you knew then that you know now.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though I was an agent, I didn't know the divorce world, right? As far as real estate, and now we have the certified divorce real estate experts, which is the course I'm going through, which you're learning about how to support people in so many ways, like where to point them to. The CDREs, the certified agents can actually testify in court for you.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And there's certified divorce lenders, and I have a partner in that arena, which is showing me that, like, as far as qualifying, like, I sold a house and I sold it really quick because I had a court order that said I had to have his name off and refinance into my name in 30 days. And I was like, well, holy crap, I can't qualify for that. Like, I maybe could have, but I didn't know. I was scared, right? So I didn't have an attorney or a lender over here, or an agent for that matter, saying, look, you really need to get this counsel, and you really need to look into this program. But there's programs out there where if your divorce attorney structures it properly at the beginning, if the spouse was to pay you in quarterly instead of monthly, that the court will count that larger sum of money as your income and your future income, and then so you're able to qualify for that property. Whereas if you what I did was just go in, and the divorce attorney said, it doesn't look good for you, you better just settle, and you better sell that house, right? And I did, because I was scared, and I didn't have anybody in my court to share those things and to point me into those directions. And there's so much out there that we just don't know. There's a lot about how to let the wife stay in the home with the children, because a lot of times she doesn't want to disrupt her whole family, right? But there's ways that you can do that with your spouse, doing a cash out refi, and the way that it's structured, help her stay in the house and be able to afford it. So there's just so much. And when you're just getting a random real estate agent or lender or even divorce attorney, you could be missing so much. You can be missing so much, like I did, because I didn't know. So yeah, it's really important to who you're aligning yourself with during that time.
Definitely.
And the core professionals that a woman would need are a real estate agent who's certified in divorce, and anyone else?
A certified divorce lender. Yeah, a lender can help them qualify to stay in the home, or refinance, or qualify to purchase another property, right? Because her income is drastically going to go down, right? How's she going to afford it? But there's ways for them and for us to look at the whole picture and see how she can be able to work through those things. And you really need to partner with a divorce attorney who knows real estate also, or who has a real estate professional on their side, because a lot of them don't. A lot of them don't know. And that's what's cool about this network and you guys and all of us partnering, is putting people on these women's team who know ways for them to get the best result of the divorce and of the real estate.
Because that's why you sold your property in your divorce, because you put all your trust in your attorney, and they counseled you to sell it because they didn't know about ways you could qualify for it. So
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, he barely gave me any information about that, right? Just like, well, here's the situation. This is what he's asking you to do. And you said yes, because I didn't know better. Like, to refinance and get his name off of it and put it in my name, I couldn't do that. I wasn't properly advised that there was other options, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you need to have some trusted professionals in your corner for sure.
So getting people on your team who are certified and have training and education and experience specifically with divorce, and just
Yes.
knowing that there are options. There are a lot of options to explore.
Yes. Yeah. Don't settle. Don't settle. It's a scary time. It's a scary time, and you don't necessarily have the right people in your corner. Maybe a few friends that are going, "Don't do that," don't put up with that. But it's scary, and you make decisions without knowing what your options are. I think I know I did, and I know other people who have done that.
So what's possible for women who are going through divorce when they do have that team of advocates and experts supporting them?
A lot. There's a lot. For one, diminishing the fear that you're screwed, right? So that's a huge one. And also just the fact that you may be able to keep your home. You may think that you can't afford to purchase a home. I think it's something like 75% of people going through divorce have to sell their home, right? But they may be able to turn around and purchase another home, right? But they probably feel like, I just talked to a woman last week who's going to rent because she feels like she can't purchase a home, right? She's like, it's not time for me. I'm going through a divorce. And I was able to share with her some of these options. Like, you just don't know. You need to go out there and explore your options, and maybe you can put that money back into purchasing something, because then you want to turn around and build wealth again, right? Mm-hmm. So when you're renting, which we all have been there and have to do that at certain times in our life, you don't realize that if you can find a way to purchase a home, right, you can turn around and start building that wealth again. And in a few years, you're going to have equity in your home, and that's going to change your life. That's going to change your life 100%. But sometimes we don't realize that those options are out there. So you really need to get with somebody who can share the possibilities.
Oh, that's so empowering. I love that. So what's possible is that women can own property after divorce. Women can have a safe, secure place to live that they're not afraid of getting kicked out of. They can be building their equity and building their wealth on the other side of divorce. And it sounds like you're helping women to really build a new foundation.
Thank you. I want to. I love that. I want to be an advocate and be able to support them and help to ease some of that anxiety and fear that we go through when we're in that situation.
It's so powerful because that's your own story, DeAnn. And so you really put your heart into the work that you do, and we can feel that. And that is so compelling and powerful. And I feel like it builds a lot of trust with people. They know you've been there yourself, so you know what they're experiencing. And that alone can alleviate so much of the stress and pain of going through something like divorce.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I think when we hear someone else go, "Oh, I've been there," right? I know how it feels. I know what you're going through. I could just even feel people's energy go, "Oh, thank you. Thank you just for saying." Yeah.
So let's wrap up with the holidays.
Yeah. It's holiday season.
A week from Thanksgiving.
It's the toughest time. I was speaking with an attorney who said that this is like the calls they get right now between now and the end of the year is their busiest time of the year.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Busiest time of the year is the holidays for divorce.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what are the stresses on divorced women, particular to the holidays? Megan and I have already been talking about this a lot on Instagram. I mean, from what we remember from our own experience, it was loneliness, so much grieving, nostalgia. It's like all these things, all these old memories come up from old holiday traditions, being separated from maybe the people that we used to spend our holidays with, like the family and friends that we used to have holiday traditions with. this year, I know financial stress is really high for a lot of people with inflation and with what's happening in the economy.
Yeah, there's so much there that we could unpack. I mean, it's you're already in a horrific time of grief and stress and mourning, and then you go into the holidays, and like you said, that you're nostalgic, and it's not the same, and you probably don't have the same amount of money, and there's so much there. But you can turn that into an amazing positive time, and I've been able to do that with my kids. And yeah, we've embraced that it's never going to be what it was, the perfect, all the family coming over and the turkey and the sitting around the table and whatever it is that people do. I think that that not having that thing anymore that you think was that go-to comfort thing is hard, but I think you can definitely reinvent those times.
Mm-hmm.
And tell us how you have reinvented Thanksgiving in particular.
We have talked about this a little bit. So when I was married this last time, it was we had very serious traditions, and we had to have, everybody had to do the perfect thing, and my kids felt very under pressure to be the perfect kids during this holiday time, and they're always like, we hate turkey anyway, so why do we have to sit here and eat this turkey and the stuffing and the cranberries? So when we had our first Thanksgiving alone, I was busy with work trying to build this business, and I don't have a big old dinner or whatever. So I'm like, what do you guys want to do? What is important to you? What makes you happy? And they're like, well, we all love nachos. Let's have nachos for Thanksgiving. And it was our thing. Like when we would get together just as girls, we would like nacho night, and we'd watch Nacho Libre, and it was our whole thing. So they said, let's eat nachos and watch Nacho. And so we did. We started a tradition where we would get, all the fixings and make a huge nacho bar, whatever anyone likes. We're not cooking turkey, we're doing nachos. And it became a huge tradition in our family. And now my girls invite all their friends who don't have families, right? Or whoever isn't celebrating with their family. And we have a pretty big household. So I supply the core nachos, and everybody brings a nacho side. And it's gotten fun. Like someone's cooking up a cool chili. They're doing all these nacho sides and BYOB. And it becomes actually a big party, and we watch Nacho Libre too. That's our thing. But you can recreate it to be whatever you want, right? And if you have kids and you're going to spend it with them, like ask them what they want to do on Thanksgiving. Maybe they hate turkey. My kids hated turkey. They hated someone telling them they had to sit at the table for an hour and go around and say what they're thankful for. They hated it. And now they're like, yeah, Thanksgiving. And they think it's so fun to invite their friends. Guess what we're doing? We're having nachos on Thanksgiving. So it can be empowering, right? You can do whatever the hell you want. Nobody gets to tell you anymore. You don't have to entertain anybody you don't want to entertain. So I think you can turn these holidays into something really, really cool and positive for your family.
Totally. I would be tacos. Taco Thanksgiving.
Taco bar. And then Christmas, we do the same thing. I'm like, what do you guys want to do? We really put it out there, like, what do you guys want to do? And I think last year was like barbecue. We're gonna barbecue steaks and baked potatoes. So I'm like, okay, let's do that. So it's super fun.
It sounds liberating. Like now you're actually doing what's authentic to you and your daughters.
Yes. It's extremely liberating, right? It's like in so many ways. Nobody's bossing us to have turkey, right?
Actually having fun.
We're having a blast. And it's become like their favorite time now. Where before it was a chore, right? And it's somebody telling you how things are supposed to be. Like we're trying to break out of all of the stipulations, right? Anyways, of people telling us how we're supposed to be all the time. And they're like, we're going to wear, they wear their favorite sports stuff, right? They wear their football pajamas and whatever, guys. So yeah, that's what we do.
I love that you've turned it into this day where they get to express themselves, and also how you've opened your doors and said anyone who doesn't have a place to go, come here. Like, we open our arms to you. You have a place to come.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you a funny little story real quick. So my daughter Hannah, who passed away December 1st, 2019, we didn't even get into that. On our last Thanksgiving with her, we have we take a lot of video because the girls are ridiculous, but they're standing on the table dancing, they're karaokeing, there's all kinds of stuff going on. There's all kinds of things happening. But Hannah, I'm videotaping this, for my social media, and she's standing in the kitchen and she says, anybody who's not having Thanksgiving to have Thanksgiving with us. And it doesn't make any sense. But we always play that video every Thanksgiving because that was her saying, and we all say it now. If you want to have Thanksgiving with us, was her inviting all the friends of the friendless, right, over to share it with us. So it's a tradition of us to actually say that to everybody too.
I love that.
Things. New things to do. Yeah.
Oh, so beautiful. So much hope in the reclamation of what was lost, taking it back for yourself and for your daughters. Really, I see a theme of you coming to your daughters and being like, what do you guys want? Because this is really about family, and you're important to me. And like, going through divorce is an opportunity where you can be really intentional with your kids and be like, hey guys, what do you want? And make it more of a family bonding time than it was before your divorce, really.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a completely different vibe where we love hanging out. We're having so much fun, right? And it's just everybody coming over. And where before it was like they hated it. They hated the holidays because they were miserable, right? But now it's like one of our favorite times that we get to spend together. So yeah, I love it.
Maybe we'll show up.
Over. If you want nachos, come on over.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, and I love that even for people who aren't going through divorce, just having permission to do holidays on your own terms and to really think about what is authentic to us. How do we want to celebrate where we can express ourselves and just be ourselves and not have to fit into these rigid boxes of what it's supposed to look like.
100%, right? And it's been liberating, and it's been so much more closeness and bonding with my family than any other time with the turkey and the.
That's so inspiring, because I know a lot of moms. I've heard from a lot of moms that they have like really intense mom guilt after the divorce of like, oh, my kids, their holidays aren't going to be the same. The family's not together. Now they have to go to different houses, and they're never going to have that picture perfect holiday again. Like a lot of moms do feel guilt about that. And your story is proof that it can actually be so much better, not just for you as the mom, but also so much better for the kids on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. And I had that mom guilt at first, right? I was like, oh, I suck. Here I am again, in this another divorce, and now we don't have this. And they were like, we don't care. You can reinvent anything. You can reinvent, your evening dinners, whatever you want to do. You can reinvent how everything works and make it what you guys love, not what anybody's making you have to do because you have to please everybody around you. So I really encourage everyone to take a second look at it and go, what do I really want here? In everything.
I love that. Reinventing it to be what you love.
Yeah. So we're gonna sign off. I could chat with you guys forever, but I think
I just had one last question to close on. Having been through a divorce 3 times, you are the resident expert.
Thank you.
What is your top most critical piece of advice for any woman going through divorce?
Don't lose yourself. Don't lose yourself. It's very easy to lose yourself going through the whole process and thinking, like we were just saying, that you're trying to get back to what you were, right? Or back to where things are. Use that time to reinvent yourself and to find yourself, right? If I didn't go through the shittiest times of my life, I wouldn't be sitting here with you amazing women, right? And I wouldn't be in my power right now. I wouldn't be living my best life. I'm happier now than I've ever been in my entire life, right? Yeah. And if I didn't go through all that, I don't think I'd be here. I'd still be oppressed and not being my true self. So don't lose yourself, and remember that you can come out on the other side to be even 10 times better than you've ever been. This is an awakening.
Yes.
This is a rebirth right now.
Yes.
So inspiring.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks, you guys. So where can everybody find me? Everyone knows where to, find you. Everybody knows where to find me. Where can they find you guys if they want to?
They can find you on the billboard.
They can find me. You could Google me.
Yeah. Well, we're on Instagram at Divorce Sisters. And then our website is howtohealfromdivorce.com.
Say it again.
Howtohealfromdivorce.com.
I love that.
Howtohealfromdivorce.com.
All right, you guys heard it. How to heal from divorce. This has been amazing, and I'm so glad that we took a different spin on the podcast today, and we're able to share with people something that's really important right now during the holidays. And I just love you guys, and thanks for being here.
Love you too.
Love you.
All right, talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.